going on, guys? We got an update from Benny Johnson. Apparently, Tucker Carlson spoke on a few things. Like he spoke on Candace Owens and Tim Pool and the TPUS. All of this mess, man. All this mess. Let's just get straight into it so we could be able to know what's going down. Did I say it right? It's TP.
Benny, Tucker Carlson is on the record saying he's not going to speculate about Charlie Kirk's murder and the events surrounding it, yet leave it to Theo Von to elicit out of somebody their darkest and deepest secrets. And here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Tucker Carlson talking about Charlie Kirk's murder and the curious events surrounding it. As we have stated on this program time and time again, we want maximal transparency, maximal investigative force, and maximal confessions and evidence brought to light. In the absence of that, you are going to have people that spiral, and that's what you're seeing right now. Who's in charge of the damn investigation? Well, it's not Erica Kirk, and it's not Candace Owens, and it sure as hell ain't me. And the way that you actually get people to go freaking crazy on stuff like this is to hold things back from them, to lie to them, or to deceive them. And what I mean by that is the judge is right now in this case planning on, it seems like, banning all cameras and all media from the courthouse. So we won't be able to watch the trial. We'll just be able to see these little sketches and hear little blurbs about it later. But that's totally and wholly inadequate. People are going to lose their minds if that's the case. Tucker Carlson's saying as much, and he's right about it. So here we go. Let's start with Tucker Carlson describing the real problems with this investigation, saying that there has to be more.
But so I would say of the assassination, first of all, I knew him well.
Yeah, that is some BS.
Before he was killed, so I feel emotional about
it's suspect as hell, too. There's some BS and it's mad suspect
about it still.
Who was Charlie Kirk?
Yep.
Oh,
yep.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
and I love his wife and know his wife well. And so I feel emotional about it. So, I just haven't wanted everything to do with it. But I will say a couple of things. I don't understand the official story at all.
Of his assassination?
I don't understand it. And I want to make sure that there is a truly rigorous and honest federal investigation of it. And I'm definitely concerned about that. A. B.
Hey, what's up, Cloverfield? How you doing?
I think that I don't know many of the details, but I know that recently Candace said that Egyptian registered aircraft were following Erica Kirk, Charlie's widow, around for a number of years in different places in the world. That's one of the weirdest things I've ever heard. And I just want to say that is factually true. That's true. So that's like the one data point that I happen to know is true. What does that mean? I have literally no idea. I can't even guess, but that's very, very strange.
And what is Egyptian? It could mean aircrafts from Egypt. Who knows? I
think that they were registered in Egypt.
Got it.
And but that fact is true. So enough. And it also her claim that, there were kind of a disproportionately large number of foreign registered cell phones at the event. That's also true. So what does that add up to? I don't know, but it means that, the FBI has a moral and legal obligation to look in every direction and to be open-minded as you would in any investigation, in journalism, in science. It's all the same process. I don't know the answer, and I'm going to sift through everything as open-mindedly as I can, as honestly as I can, to get to what the truth is. That's science, that's law enforcement, that's journalism. It's all the same. That's justice. And I just want to make sure that is happening. And I just don't have a ton of confidence in the FBI or the men who run it. And I'm not saying that out of ignorance at all.
That's a scary part too.
I'm not alleging anything. I'm just saying I think it's really important that we have that.
Yeah, and also
I have
I never wanted to think
Twitter
any of this.
Shit, like leaders of the FBI are on Twitter. Like what?
Oh, do you see the video that Tim Dillon did about the
No, because it makes me too mad.
But no, I agree. It's like, and also here's the weird thing. I never wanted to think about any of this.
No,
I never wanted to think that our FBI didn't care about us, or that our CIA was compromised, or that we couldn't you can't even call the police department without thinking that it goes directly to some other foreign lobby, right? Like
Theo Von is so earnest in these conversations. Tucker Carlson, clearly they're going directly after Dan Bongino and Kash Patel for being on Twitter, saying that he doesn't have any confidence in them and their ability to investigate here or run the FBI. I have a feeling this is going to elicit a reaction out of Kash and Dan, and more importantly, going to sort of cast a pall on the investigation of Charlie Kirk's murder, which, again, every single independent voice can tell you it would be great to have more clarity. It would be great to have more clarity on President Trump's assassination attempt. I mean, really, you're talking about events that changed the country forever and would be good to have a step-by-step breakdown of what's going on.
I agree.
It's perfectly fine to ask questions about these things. It's perfectly natural and healthy, actually, to do that. And
it'd be weird not to, honestly. In my personal opinion, I think it would be suspect not to. Someone said, could I send you some funny YouTube videos, like short horror films? You could send it. No guarantee I'm gonna check it out, but you can send it though. You can send it. You never know.
More importantly, we've learned that the CIA was lying to us for 70 years about the JFK assassination. So, I mean, you're the people who lied, right? The CIA did bump Lee Harvey Oswald in Mexico. They've now finally admitted that. They had to get that admission clawed out of their cold, dead hands. And so, again, you're the ones who broke it. Like, it is incumbent upon the currently...
Yeah, cold, dead hands is crazy. But, yeah. No, that's a good analogy.
Leadership of the CIA, FBI, and so on, in order to try and fix it. And the way that you do that is maximal transparency and investigative efforts. Here's Tucker Carlson calling for that, saying that you have got to be more transparent and forceful in your investigation here.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not like a weirdo just because your brain is trying to figure things out. That's a brain's job, is to try to figure things out, is to try to make organization of things, right? So it's just so crazy that people who are trying to figure things out are getting ostracized.
Yeah, join Discord. Facts, Biggs. Join Discord if you want to be able to send me stuff.
You know, whether they're right or wrong or something, at least they're trying to have some semblance of like curiosity, which is really just kind of
the official story describing the murder of your friend doesn't make sense, and you find yourself yelling at a podcaster for coming up with other theories, you're barking in the wrong direction. Your anger should be focused on the people whose job it is legally, constitutionally, to get to the answer. And there's very little pressure on them, I notice. And a great deal of pressure on Candace Owens. And by the way, I've said this to him.
I say, Theo, a real one. Yeah, I rock with Theo. I've been rocking with Theo since he was on reality TV. And he stopped that bully from beating on that small dude. He jumped in there like, hey, man, you can't just be smacking people.
A bunch of people, you know,
I rock
off the record, you know, people I'm just talking to. It's like, what Candace is saying is clearly causing a lot of turmoil. Is it true or not? I can't assess it. I'm not the FBI. I'm a freaking podcaster, but I do know how the system works, and it's really simple. The FBI has this case, and of course, the state of Utah. It's their job to not only find out what happened, but present it to the public in a way that restores some confidence that you can have justice in this country. They have functioning law enforcement. I don't have confidence in that because there's a lot of evidence that we don't have that. So
hold on. Make sure I'm not tripping.
Restore confidence by being honest and telling a story that makes sense. So why, and if they don't do that, and they haven't done that, they have not done that, how can you be mad at Candace Owens or anyone else for filling a vacuum that they left?
Yeah.
Well, Candace was okay. No, the people with the authority are the ones responsible.
They're not giving us the information. How can you be mad at Candace Owens for not only seeking the information, but trying to present it to us? She's doing what they're not doing. Nah, that's facts.
Responsible. And they're the ones who should be held responsible when there's a failure. Not some podcaster, not me, not you, not Candace, the people whose job it is. Talk about, and it's always that. It's always like, you say, well, I don't know why Israel's committing genocide, and God's like, shut up, Theo Von. It's like, shouldn't you be mad at Israel for committing the genocide? No.
Yeah, or shouldn't? Why am I the one even asking about it, dude? I'm just a curious tard, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's facts. The truth should have been exposed to us already.
I'm trying my best, but dude,
I couldn't agree more.
Again, I love Theo Von. He's just such an earnest individual. Makes him great at this kind of stuff. It's, like a Labrador. You don't want to disappoint.
Damn.
Tucker Carlson addressed the Charlie Kirk murder one final time in this podcast, and the leadership around it and the conversation. That's good.
But anyway, here's what I am concerned about. A lot of things. One, he acted alone. Tell me how that worked. I don't, none of us really act alone.
It's hard to go anywhere by yourself, too.
Thank you. Exactly. You acted totally alone. Okay. You're going to have to prove that to me. It's totally possible. Anything is possible. Weird things have happened. We'll continue to. But that's not my default assumption, and it shouldn't be yours. And their default assumption was we acted alone. Really? Why do you think that? What about life suggests that people typically act alone? When was the last time you acted alone in anything? I don't go, right? So A. B, we know that people had foreknowledge of this because they posted about it on X and said Charlie Kirk is going to be killed on this date, and he was.
Is that true?
Yes, it's true.
But were they just guessing? Was it a guessing thing where every day they posted that?
Maybe. Have those people been interviewed? Have they been hauled into FBI HQ?
Did we play the nasty song yet? Yeah, why they not more on that? Yeah, let's play that nasty.
Yeah. You nasty fam, you nasty. You nasty fam, you nasty. You nasty fam, you nasty. You nasty fam, yeah. You know your name.
Nasty. Super nasty.
You and had a long conversation with how they knew that. Like, let's get really specific. Why did you post that? Who have you talked to? Like, if I were doing this investigation, because I spent my whole life doing non-criminal investigations called journalism, like, what do we know is true? How do we find out? Call everybody, be open-minded. It's like it's the same process. If I was doing this investigation, they would be at the very top of the list. We know because we've got public postings on Twitter that people know, just like on 9/11. We know people bet against American Airlines and the banks that were in the World Trade Centers. They shorted those stocks. Those people clearly had foreknowledge of 9/11. Who were those people? We still don't know. So I would start there.
But so you're saying that just the fact that there could possibly be some foreknowledge should be investigated?
Well, there was foreknowledge because I saw the tweets. And so I saw at least two that said, everything's going to change when Charlie Kirk gets to the college in Utah.
Okay.
So those people, I'm not saying they're part of a conspiracy, but there's evidence that they had foreknowledge. Okay. So that's where you begin.
And how crazy that sound? That sound wild, bro. Whoa.
I could go on. Like, tell me how this guy who seemed normal became a radical trans furry murderer. It's not enough to tell me, oh, trans. I'm not pro-trans, by the way.
But was that the guy or his boyfriend?
Well, exactly right. Tell me how this guy became so radicalized that he murdered a stranger. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm saying I want an explanation for how it happened. Why wouldn't I?
I agree.
Oh, we can't talk about that because it'll prejudice the jury pool. Really, you've told the world that you have both a confession from him in his text to his boyfriend and the murder weapon with his fingerprints on it. I think you got a pretty solid case. So why is it so difficult to just explain, dude, 9/11, the rubble was still smoldering I was on television on 9/11, so I remember this very well. People are instantly appeared. Oh, this is Islamic radicalism. Here's where it comes from. We're going to invite this guy in from Columbia who's just written a book about it, and like the whole explanation was ready to go.
Yeah.
There's no even attempt, which is both good and bad, but there's no attempt to explain how this happened. Like that's the key question we all want to know. Yes, I know Charlie Kirk was murdered by gunshot. Got it. Saw it. Why? And they never want to tell you.
Yeah.
Was the kid on SSRI? Shut up. Are you a Scientologist? And they immediately start name calling you. Oh, you're Candace Owens now? No.
That is crazy. Yep. Whenever you're a truth teller and you're seeking the truth, they always want to shut you down and then call you crazy, say that you're like conspiracy theorist and all this nastiness. when I think even that term in general was made to try to distract people from the truth. It was a way to try to, like, I guess you could say, get people to not listen to you. Yeah, that is pretty wild.
But if you're just a curious person who wants to know why your friend got killed,
well, that's kind of what I am. That's what I am.
That's what I'm saying. It's a human person.
Well, that's what Candace is. So maybe, so I have said from the beginning, if you don't like what Candace Owens is saying, why don't you call her and offer a more plausible explanation for what happened? Oh, she's bad. She's bad. Okay. I mean, I like her a lot. I don't think she's bad, but I love her actually. But let's just stipulate she's bad. But why wouldn't you do that?
Because, I don't agree with some of the stuff that the rabbit hole she goes down, but I don't even know. But I like the fact that she likes to dig in the garden, you know? So it's like, I like the fact that she's curious, and that obviously if people weren't resonating with what she's doing, then nobody would be paying attention. But you know how many places I go, people will come up to me and be like, and I don't think they want to say something to me. They'll be like, I love Candace.
Dude, did I say what happened to me in Oslo this summer? I was with my family. Salmon fishing.
White Oslo. Some people call it White Oslo as well.
It's not very white anymore.
It isn't?
Nope.
What is going on?
I'm glad they put up the tweets in that section, because as a matter of fact, there were a bunch of mutant freaks that were celebrating Charlie Kirk's imminent death online.
Yeah, them niggas is disgusting. Amazing Lucas. There's a whole plethora of people that was doing that.
And they posted about it, and a lot of them had connections to transgender and Antifa and furry communities in Utah. I would like to know if those people have been interviewed. I think that's a fair line of questioning. Matt Walsh here just seconds ago posting an obvious hole in the Charlie Kirk assassination story is that leftist trans freaks were posting about the killing before it happened. Seemed to indicate that there was potentially even more leftists involved in the plot. If that's a conspiracy theory, it's among leftist radical militants either way. The evidence points to this being the work of one, at least possibly more than one, radical leftist scumbags. They want all of us dead. And they had every reason and motivation to kill Charlie, and they didn't. Tucker saying as much, Matt saying as much. A lot of people sounding off on this. I think it's perfectly acceptable to ask for maximal transparency. And
how you doing, Bayani? How are you?
Investigative force, and then for updates. It is the clearest, most damaging and effective political assassination that has split the country into, in my lifetime or yours, since JFK. Frankly, you'd have to go back to find political assassinations of more weight. So treat it like that. You know, treat it with the kind of investigative rigor that is required. And if you don't do that, then people spiral. And that's why people go crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. I think we got some more from Tucker Carlson. Let me pull that up. But I'm glad that he's speaking up. So many people that just want to jump on the hate Candace wave. And shout outs to Benny Johnson too as well. All right, let's see what else Tucker Carlson got to say.
In the 3 months since Charlie Kirk was murdered, I've really tried not to comment on the murder investigation in public. And it's not because I don't care, of course. I love Charlie and knew him well since he was a teenager. But I haven't said anything about it. I really tried not to say anything about it. First, because I don't really know anything that everyone else doesn't know. I've asked around, but of course, how do you know what the truth is? But the other reason I haven't said anything is because I know personally a number of the people involved in what's now become a very large story. I know them really well. And I really think a lot of all of them on every side. Candace Owens, I've known a long time. I love Candace Owens. Blake Neff at TPUSA once worked for me at a couple of different places, and I love Blake Neff. Erica Kirk, I've known since she was dating Charlie Kirk, and I love Erica Kirk. And I think these are all really, really decent people. And so it's been my desire for 3 months not to get involved in any of this. And in general, to think to myself, anybody who is earnestly searching for the truth, whether they're right or wrong, but as long as they're motivated by a desire to find out what happened and therefore honor Charlie's memory by getting to justice, anyone who's doing that, I'm not going to criticize. Again, no matter what track they're on, lots of us, and this has certainly happened to me, have good moments, but good motives, but wind up in the wrong place. But it's a sincere mistake. So that definitely happens. I have done that, and so I've just wanted to stay out. And then the other day, I had like a 3-hour conversation with Theo Vaughn, and it was not about Charlie Kirk or anything related to it, but that topic came up. And I said, in effect, I don't trust the FBI. And that gave some people the impression that I was, accusing them of being involved in Charlie's assassination. And of course, I wasn't. And I certainly didn't mean to. But it gives me the chance now to say what I think, which is that we should not necessarily trust the FBI. And by the way, why would we? It's not an
Talk that talk. Been trying to say it. Why the hell would we? Like, that don't make no damn sense at all. People are crazy, bro. But they just want to come at Candace. I bet you they're going to try to start coming at Tucker now because he spoke up.
attack on, the political leadership of it. I've known Dan Bongino, for example, for a long time, and like Dan, and don't imagine he would ever be involved in intentionally covering up a murder of somebody. I don't believe that. But Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, for that matter, are at the top of the org chart, but this is a huge organization, and parts of it act independently from leadership. That's the nature of bureaucracy. So saying, well, I like Dan Bongino and don't think he would do something wrong on purpose, which is how I feel, doesn't mean that I trust the FBI or have to trust the FBI. And again, why would I? If there's one lesson of the last election, the 2024 election, it's that a lot of our biggest systems, our biggest institutions have rot in them, and that needs to be reformed. And as if we needed more
Facts. I'll even go further. A lot of corruption out here in these streets. Whole lot of corruption. It's nasty. Well, they don't want to hear that. They just want to trust Big Brother. Oh, yeah, the people that lied to us a plethora of times, let's just keep on following what they say. They got our best interest at heart. Nigga, when?
proof of it, we'd learned what a lot of us suspected for years, that January 6th was in effect a setup, and the FBI was key to that setup. And it's still not clear that everyone involved in that setup at the FBI has been fired or punished for that. So no person, no American is under some moral obligation to believe everything the government tells you, particularly institutions or agencies that have a long documented, factually documented track record of committing crimes, participating illegally in our political system, for example, as the FBI has done, manufacturing crimes, setting people up, distorting justice. That's the opposite of their job, of course, which is to get to justice through facts and then to tell the rest of us how they arrived at this conclusion, to prove to the rest of us that the right people are being punished.
Yeah.
So we're not under any obligation. Of course, we shouldn't invent theories to discredit the FBI, but it's not enough to have government officials tell us, well, this is the truth. We have a right, probably an obligation to say, well, can you prove it? And if you can't, I don't have to believe you. So there's one thing that bothers me above all about the investigation into Charlie Kirk is that is getting lost. As people argue over what happened, we are potentially letting our largest federal law enforcement agency off the hook. It is the job of the FBI to find out what happened and to tell the rest of us, not hide behind, well, it's national security, confidential sources. No, tell us what happened. Show us what happened. Convince us what happened. That's your job. And we shouldn't accept anything less. And by the way, when we do accept something less, then, new explanations fill the vacuum left by the FBI, which we pay to explain to us what happened.
Facts.
And so I'm going to really do my best not to talk about things I don't understand, state things as though I know them when I don't know them. I'm going to do my best to stay out of it because I love Charlie and I want justice to be done in this case. But the rest of us should remain skeptical. We have a duty to remain skeptical, and we should not be ashamed of our skepticism. Thanks.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think people should be attacked for seeking answers when all they do is lie to us or just tell us, oh, just believe us. Oh, don't look into that yourself. Just believe us. If you just look into history, bro, they haven't given us a reason to believe them. Right? So when you have truth seekers like people like Candace Owens, who's going out here and putting in work to be able to pretty much expose the truth. Can't be mad at it. But tell me what you think down in the comment section. Hit the like button, share the video as well. All that good stuff. Hit the hype button too.